Hey guys, welcome back. You may notice the AMG is sans wheels, and that's because, if you recall, they're in terrible shape. So in this episode, we're gonna refurbish those and fix that problem, hopefully. Here's the sad state of the rims as they are. And the worst part is, of course, the fronts. They're road rashed pretty good. So step one is the purple power, as I call it anyways. It's not exactly purple power, but I'm going to soak these things down. Let them stew for a while and then we'll hose them off. I got to knock off all the old wheel weights. Time to scrap. Who knows when these got cleaned last? Thinking it's been a while because it's the glue from 4 spots from wheel weights of the past, so probably never. At least not on the inside. Here's a closer look at the wheels now that they're a little cleaner. You can see the extent of the... Somebody already tried to clean this one, or tried to... some paint? It looks like just a touch-up pen somebody tried to use on that one. Some of these gouges are really deep. Ugh, terrible, really. And even on the backs of the wheels, unfortunately, there's some nicks, which is strange, but I'm going to take a plastic razor blade and scrape off all this glue from the weights and get that cleaned up first. Incidentally, these Home Depot bucket lids, perfect little wheel carousel. They spin really good on there too, without scratching anything, so kind of figured that out by accident, but glad I did. Yeah, here's a nice big long gouge. This back of this one's not bad. Well, mostly the front. Good thing it's not fixed yet. But this one's got some deep ones. as well on the front, so we got our work cut out for us. This plastic razor blade I was talking about, you can get it for cheap on Amazon. They come with a scraper, but I like just using them like this. That's a bit of a tedious job for sure, but somebody's got to do it, and my hired help seems to be off for the day. Just kidding, it's just me. There we go. Just a little goo left behind. But yeah, doesn't scratch the paint, doesn't damage it at all, so hell yeah. I'll go ahead and take the rest of this off and we'll have another look when it's done. So one of the things that seemed to help with some of that goo from the wheel weights is just a grease and wax remover. And I soaked some paper towel with it and just let it sit and eat on that for a while, and then after it softens up, then the razor blade has a much easier time, kind of turns gooey and soft, and then it scrapes off not too bad. The Goo Gone didn't touch it. It comes off pretty good. With minimal effort, at least, I guess I should say. Okay, notice something really weird I want to show you guys. See this mark here of 6 dots and another dot, and then a little notch here too. They're indented into the wheel, and they seem to repeat around the outside of the wheel, like it was hitting on something. But oh, what though? I don't know what could have possibly been jammed inside there. And the weirder thing is the other wheel's got the same thing. Repeating pattern. How in the heck? If anybody else has got any ideas about that one, I'm drawing a complete blank here. No clue. Unless it was from somebody mounting the wheels and hanging them on the caliper or on something else, or I don't know. I can't figure that one out. Shoot your ideas below for me, guys. I'm drawing a blank on this guy. Alright, this is the moment where things are going to get worse before they get better. And I've already done this one, I'll show you. It looks pretty murdered. Any of the spots that had any of that old touch of paint or a bad ding, I've taken the wire wheel to and taken any of the crud and oxidization and dirt off. I haven't touched this other one yet, so I'll go ahead and do that. So I'm just using a brass wire wheel on a drill. Okay, this one wasn't actually in too bad a shape. I'm also going to take the rounded one and go inside here and clean this crud out of here too. And don't forget the back of the wheel if you got a mess going on back there too. I'm also going to go around the beads to make sure I don't have any crud left on there that's going to make a problem later. Some old sealer on there and stuff. I'd rather be the guy cleaning this up now than, you know, some tire shop guy just rubbing it off there who doesn't have a clue that we just spent, you know, 12 hours redoing these wheels. So now we're going to want to wipe that all down with some alcohol so we can put the filler in. So good old wax and grease remover. And anywhere where you're going to put filler, just give it a wipe down. And here's why we're doing that. Hey, I'm doing JB Weld steel for this. So mix up an amount. You don't want to mix up too much at once, obviously, so it doesn't harden on you, but I'm going to be doing this in a couple sections, I think, or at least one wheel at a time. This stuff here mixes in a 50-50 concentration. Out there, maybe? I just cut some black flexible strips I could use to sort of massage that in with. Mix it up real good. It's all one uniform color. And then we're ready to go. Now you just want to do your best job of getting this on nice and uniform. Trying to put it on too thick, it's a bit of a bugger to sand off later. But you definitely want to go past where you want to sand down to later. You know, if you don't get it right the first time, you can always sand it down and try again. There, I think. Hey, it's already started to harden on this wheel, so I'm going to stop and move to the other wheel. You guys get the idea. Okay, you guys will remember we applied the JB Weld last time. I'm going to use some 320 grit here. Just wrap it around a foam. This is a sanding block, but I'm not going to use it as a sanding block, just as a foam block. Just wrapping that around so I can get a reasonably flat surface. And then I'm going to take the JB Weld back down until we're flush with the wheel surface. So this is obviously going to take a while, so I'll put you guys on fast forward and we can have a look when it's finished. Right, you probably saw me pull out the drill with the sanding disc on it. Some of that JB Weld was hard as a rock, which it should be, but it was taking forever to sand it. and the drill actually worked pretty good. This is also a good time to look at any imperfections in your rim. Like here, I've got a pretty rough spot where the tire seats, where the bead is, so I'm going to go lightly over these spots as well. Get them all nice and smooth. Because later when we paint over them, that's going to be under the paint, and then there'll be no way to get rid of that. And that's where the tire seals, so we want it smooth. And once I'm done that, I'm going to take that 320 grit again and just run over the edge here to smooth that out and make it all nice. And then we'll be ready for some spot filler after that. Just run your hand over everything, feel for any kind of blemishes you can still find. And you should have sanded off majority of the JB Weld. Okay, I'm going to finish off the other wheel. Get back at you guys after. Okay, let's get these hose down, get the dust off, and then we'll let them dry. Okay, we've dried up here, and here's what we're left with after our first go. The few minor scratches and imperfections in here still. Like here, where you can see where the JB Weld has filled most of the bad spots. There's a couple little nicks here and there, but and here little scratches, and here some scratches still, fine scratches. So we're going to fill those in, and then as well on the back of these rims, we've got all these little nicks we found before, these little imperfections, little dimples, and a little side scratch here. So we're going to fill those with some glazing and spot putty. So what I found works really well is just to put a glove on and use that with your finger just to spread that into the holes. Because normally you'd use something like a plastic spreader, but there's no flat surface on these wheels, and so finger seems to work best. And this stuff shrinks a little bit, so you want to go not overboard, but you want to definitely go a little higher than what you're filling, and just gob it on. It's not hard to get this stuff off. It's pretty soft. It sands off pretty easily. So yeah, just go around and fill all those in and be good to go. Alright, I know it looks like we went from bad to worse, but trust me, this stuff sands off pretty easily, and then we should be left with a pretty smooth finish. Alright, that's going to do it for today. I'm going to let this dry overnight to get it, make sure it's nice and dry, thoroughly dry, and then we're going to sand that down with some flying grit in the morning. And yeah, we'll see how it looks after that. There might still be some touch-ups, but it should be 90% ready for some paint after that. So, have a good night. We'll catch you tomorrow. So yesterday we put the glazing / spot putty on there, and I'm going to go at it with some 320 grit just on the block for now. I go around the outside. And you can see how quick this stuff comes off. It sands down real easy, so you got to be a little careful. You don't go too far. I've already done this one, and it gives you an idea. Well, I've done the edge, not the other spots, but you can see what it leaves behind. All the reds, the imperfections it's filled in, of course. And yeah, this one's looking pretty good. I'm going to go over a couple more spots here that I can feel now with my finger once I go over them. These Home Depot wheel stands work fantastic, by the way. Look at that. So if you're doing this, pick yourself up a couple of cheap buckets. It's well worth it. So I'm going to go ahead and sand both these down, and then we'll see what's left. See you guys in a bit. All right, we're mostly cleaned up here, sanded, I mean. So I'm going to quickly hose these down with some air, blow them down, and get all the dust off so I can see any imperfections left that dust might be hiding. And then after that, we'll fill any minor imperfections that are left with some more spot putty, let it dry for 20 minutes, and give it a final sand. Couple spots here, one here where I missed, and a ding here. A few little things like that I want to fill. The rest of it feels really good. So I've only got a little bit right here too. I've only got a few little spots left to do. And then, yeah, right, this is a little rough here still. These, surprisingly, are super smooth even though they look rough. But it's funny, all the sanding and you're kind of back to square one of it looking pretty decent actually. But yeah, I'll go ahead and fill a couple spots. I'll sand those down and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, we're done with the spot filler. Everything's nice and smooth. Run your hands over every piece of this thing. Make sure you don't feel anything rough on there or dimply or anything like that. When you're happy with it, grab yourself some, anything, 400 to 800 grit just to scuff up the paint for better paint adhesion. It doesn't say that on the instructions on the wheel paint kit, but I'm going to do it anyway. It's just best practice. And I think I've got some 400 grit kicking around. I'm probably going to use that. But scuff up every surface on these. Just a light scuff, just to dull the paint a bit, so you'll get better adhesion on the base coat. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then we should be ready for wiping them down with some grease remover, and then we can go right to paint. This is thought I had 400. This is actually 600. So just get every surface, give it a little wipe down, just to take the shine off the paint. Right, wax and grease remover, wipe it all down. Even though you sanded it, you're still going to get a lot of crap off this thing. So I'm ready to paint here. So I've got myself a charcoal filter mask here, 3M mask. Should should really wear something, and then well ventilated too. This is the kit I'm using, Duplicolor Hyper Silver Coating. And inside here, there isn't much for instructions really. It's 2 cans. You've got your base coat, and you put on 2 to 3 light coats with this, and then wait half an hour, and then you can go right to the then you go right to the clear coat, which is 2 to 3 light coats, 10 minutes in between, and then 1 to 2 heavy coats with 20 minutes in between. And then I believe it says in an hour you can touch. Yeah, dries to the touch in an hour. I'm going to leave it longer than that, obviously. So, yeah, with that, we'll get started and spray some paint down. That's the first layer down. And yeah, it doesn't look like much after just 1 layer, but you can start to see the silver. It does take a couple coats just to even coat up any of the filler, so we're going to start a 10-minute timer, and then we'll come back and do coat 2. Okay, we're done 3 layers on the back side. I'm going to flip these over now. It's been 20 minutes since the last coat. We're dry to the touch. I'm going to flip the wheels over, and then we can do 3 coats on the top. Okay, that's the first coat on the top. I should mention the coverage from these cans isn't a lot. You will need 1 kit per wheel if you're refurbishing the whole wheel like I did, not just doing touch-ups on one side. So keep that in mind. Okay, it's time for clear coat. I didn't want to lay the rims down on their faces on the buckets, but found some glass jars that echo, wow, that fit perfectly in the center. So just put the jar on the bucket, flip the wheel upside down, put it on the jar. Worked perfectly fine. Okay, that's the backside done. Clear coated. Not too bad. A couple of little nicks, but good enough. This is the backside after all. And flip these guys over and then we can do the other side. Okay, now that the paint's dry, it's time to put the tire pressure monitoring sensors in, and here's what they look like. Little guys. These are pre-programmed ones for this vehicle, so shouldn't need to get the tire shop involved again. Set to put tires on. But they just have a long collar here that screws in from the outside of the wheel, and the inside sticks in the hole down below. So I'm going to put a little bit of silicone grease just where the rubber gasket is, just to make this thing seat a little nicer and hopefully not curl up the rubber seal at all. And we'll put it in there. There we go. Just want to pay attention, I'm going into the hole nice and even. Then we take the outer part and screw it on. And there we go. Gonna rinse and repeat that another 3 times and we'll be good to go. Alright, that concludes the refurbish of our 4 AMG wheels. I'm gonna go do some tire shopping, and I'll probably include a little clip at the end when we get them on there. Maybe a little in the next video for the car. I'm not sure yet, but stay tuned for that. And as always, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate every one of you. Have a great day. Bye.